Welcome everyone. This is the MasterClass. My name is Patricknazareth. I have around 30 years of teaching experience and I'm here to help dispel your doubts, should you have any. Today, we are back at our explanation of Julius Caesar. Specifically, we are going to look at Act 4, Scene 3. The historical context of the play. We are inside Brutus's tent at Sardis near Turkey. Cassius and Brutus are facing off. What is the political situation? The triumvir army are advancing under Antony and Octavius. Cassius and Brutus, instead of being united and working to attack and defeat the enemy, are at odds among themselves. What is the flashpoint? Brutus has publicly punished an officer of Cassius, Lucius Pella, for taking bribes. Cassius has written privately to Brutus asking him not to do so, but he was simply ignored. Cassius feels that Brutus doesn't value him, whereas Brutus doesn't understand how Cassius can be corrupt. The bribery dispute is but the surface problem. Underneath, their different values are clashing. Let's understand the overview. This scene is the longest in the play, the greatest character scene in Julius Caesar. The quarrel, the reconciliation, the ghost of Caesar, and Brutus's revelation of Portia's death all combine to make this the emotional heart of the play. What are the main events? The quarrel, Cassius and Brutus going at each other, each one not holding back. One is accusing the other of bribery. Cassius is angry, and the argument escalates till it almost reaches the point of physical violence. How does it reconcile? Cassius bears his own chest and offers Brutus his own sword to run him through and kill him. This moment breaks both the men. They reconcile tenderly. That is when Brutus informs Cassius about Portia's death. A poet comes in foolishly to try and mediate between the two. Brutus dismisses him. Military planning takes place. Messala brings news of the proscriptions. 100 senators have been killed. They plan to do battle at Philippi. Caesar's ghost appears to Brutus. Why is this scene important? Reveals the full humanity of both Brutus and Cassius beneath their public roles. Caesar's ghost signals Brutus's doom. The consequences of the assassination cannot be escaped. The military decisions made here, the march to Philippi, will lead directly to the deaths. A brief summary of Act 4, Scene 3, the military camp near Sardis. It is the same evening as on Scene 2. Who are the characters present? Brutus, Cassius, Lucius, Titinius, Messala, a poet, Caesar's ghost, Varro, and Claudius. What happens? The quarrel erupts. Brutus charges Cassius with condoning bribes. Cassius replies. He is pragmatic. He tries to remind Brutus that they need every ally they can find. Brutus says Cassius is well aware that Lucius Pella takes bribes. Cassius threatens violence. Brutus icily challenges him to do his worst. Cassius cannot believe that Brutus would speak to him like this. Cassius is so much in despair that he bears his own chest and gives Brutus his dagger. Brutus is moved by this. Both men weep. They reconcile. They drink wine together. This is the time Brutus reveals that Portia is dead. She has swallowed burning coals and killed herself. Messala arrives with news. He tells them about the proscriptions. 100 senators are dead as a result. Portia is also dead. Brutus is aware of this, but does not let Messala know. They debate strategy. Cassius argues that they should wait at Sardis. Brutus insists that they march to Philippi. Brutus overrules Cassius as usual. Again, a fatal strategic error. The night servants sleep. Caesar's ghost appears. Brutus is shaken but resolute. He will go forward with his fight to defend Rome. Lines 1 to 122. Two men who need each other but are bent on tearing each other apart. What are the charges that Brutus lays at Cassius's doorstep? Bribery. You have condemned and noted Lucius Pella for taking bribes here of the Sardians. Charges that Cassius himself takes bribes. I did send to you for certain sums of gold which you denied me. Key quote. Brutus, I had rather be a dog and bay at the moon than such a Roman. Brutus links honor to Roman identity. If you take bribes, you disgrace Rome itself. What is Cassius's defense? He claims Brutus is dishonest because he has wronged Cassius in every way. He insists that he is the better soldier and a more experienced leader. His anger escalates to threats of physical violence. Urge me no more, I shall forget myself. Key quote, I am a soldier. I, older in practice, abler than yourself to make conditions. The climax? Brutus brutally dismisses him. Away, slight man. Cassius is stunned. He cannot believe Brutus would speak to him like that. The quarrel is at its peak here. Both men are on the verge of permanent rupture, the point of no return. Lines 86 to 163. It is the most tender moment in the play. Cassius' despair breaks the quarrel open into something more honest than the argument itself. What is Cassius' breaking point? Strike as thou didst Caesar, for I know, when thou didst hate him worst, thou lovest him better than thou ever loved Cassius. Cassius bares his chest to Brutus's dagger, leaving himself open. He says Brutus has loved Caesar much more than he ever loved Cassius. This is not manipulation. This is his real feelings coming to the fore. It is genuine despair. Cassius thought he had a friend in Brutus. Brutus' response? He is instantly moved. Sheath your dagger. He acknowledges that he was overcome with anger. When I spoke that, I was ill-tempered too. Both men come back from the brink. They call for wine and drink together, a physical symbol of renewed friendship. Why does this moment matter? The quarrel and the reconciliation reveal that beneath all the political roles that they are playing, they are two men who genuinely care for each other. Cassius's gesture is the most emotionally honest in this entire play. The reconciliation is fragile. They have not resolved the underlying disagreements. He quote, Brutus, give me your hand, and my heart too. The bond is renewed, but also exposed as tender and breakable. Lines 142 to 196. Brutus reveals that he knows that Portia is dead. He has been carrying this grief silently throughout the quarrel. Key quote, she felt distracted and, her attendants absent, swallowed fire. She has swallowed burning hot coals. She has died in despair at Brutus's absence and the political crisis. Cassius, how escaped I killing when I crossed you so? Stunned that Brutus endured whatever Cassius had to say while carrying all this grief inside him. Brutus's stoicism. Key quote, with mediating that she must die once, I have the patience to endure it now. He has a philosophical acceptance of a death. Death is inevitable and it is better to accept it. Thus, grief can be overcome. But this stoicism is also suppression. He is not at peace. He has simply learned to control grief. The quarrel scene in retrospect gains a lot of depth. Every angry exchange was endured by a man in private agony. The double telling, Messala also brings news of Portia's death, meaning that Brutus has heard of it twice. How does he respond? Perfectly, stoically. Why? Farewell, Portia. Shakespeare shows Brutus performing the stoicism he did not reveal earlier. Even grief is a performance of philosophy. Lines 196 till the end. After all the emotions have been let free, we now turn to military strategy, and then to the supernatural. The strategic debate. Cassius wishes to stay at Sardis and let Antony and Octavius come to them. Brutus overrules him. There is a tide in the affairs of men, which, taken at the flood, leads on to fortune. Brutus's argument sounds compelling, but is militarily wrong. Cassius had the right idea. This is Brutus's second fatal strategic decision. The first was in letting Antony live. Both times he overrules Cassius. Both times he is proved to be wrong. First he let Antony speak. Now he chooses Philippi. Late at night he is alone reading. The candle flickers. Caesar's ghost appears. I am thy evil spirit, Brutus. Why comest thou? Brutus asks. And what does the ghost reply? To tell thee, thou shalt see me at Philippi. The ghost vanishes. Brutus wakes his servants to confirm that he was not dreaming. Caesar's ghost as a nemesis. Brutus's own guilt is also made visible. The ghost signals the assassination cannot be escaped. Caesar's spirit demands justice. Brutus's response? Characteristically stoic and brave. Well, then I shall see thee again. Who are the characters here? Marcus Brutus, the tragic hero. This is Brutus's defining moment. We see every dimension of his character simultaneously. Look at his personality traits. He is principled to a fault. Refuses to allow bribery even when it has the potential to destroy his alliance. His honor is real but strategically destructive. He is emotionally suppressed. He carries Portia's death all through the scene. Stoicism is used as control rather than a man at peace. He is capable of genuine tenderness. His reconciliation with Cassius shows authentic warmth beneath cold dignity. He is a poor strategist despite confidence. Cassius wants to fight at Sardis, but Brutus decides to go to Philippi. He sounds logical, but he is wrong, just like he was wrong when he allowed Antony to speak. He is courageous before the ghost. He does not flee. He questions the ghost. He accepts his fate with Roman composure. Key quote, there is a tide in the affairs of men, which, taken in the flood, lead on to fortune. Omitted, all the voyage of their life is bound in shallows and in miseries. Brutus's most famous non-ethical statement, a speech about opportunity and timing. It is deeply ironic. He is about to make the wrong decision using this logic. What is the significance? Brutus is Shakespeare's most complex tragic hero. He is genuinely noble, genuinely limited, and he is doomed by possessing both these qualities. Caius Cassius, the passionate pragmatist. Act 4, Scene 3 shows a Cassius we have not seen before. Vulnerable, desperate, genuinely loving. Look at his personality traits. He is hot-tempered but self-aware. He erupts in anger, but he understands what he is doing. He understands his anger and tries to control it. He is genuinely devoted to Brutus. His chest-bearing gesture is not manipulation. It is the act of a man who loves his friend and despairs at the thought of losing him. He is strategically correct, but overruled. Brutus does not accept his advice to fight at Sardis. Emotionally honest in a crisis. Cassius is not trying anything political. This is his raw feeling coming through. Forgiving. Once reconciled, he does not hold on to the quarrel. They drink wine together. They move forward. Key quote. Strike as thou didst at Caesar. For I know. When thou didst hate Caesar, thou lovest him better than ever thou lovest Cassius. This is the most emotionally raw line that Cassius speaks in the entire play. He accuses Brutus of loving Caesar more than him. He is jealous and he is hurt, and it shows beneath all the politics. Significance? Cassius is the better soldier, the better strategist. Brutus is the moral figurehead. Neither one can do what the other does. What are the literary devices that are used by Shakespeare here? Dramatic irony. Brutus carries Portia's death silently. Throughout the quarrel, the audience learns about this after, retrospectively reinterpreting every line that has gone before. The ghost. The audience knows this means that Brutus does not fully grasp it. Extended metaphor. Opportunity as the sea's tide. Miss the flood and you are stranded. Powerful and ironic since Brutus misreads his own tide. Juxtaposition. The quarrel and the reconciliation, extremes of conduct and tenderness within the same scene. Symbolism. Caesar's ghost. The unquiet spirit of the assassination. Guilt made visible. Also, theatrical nemesis. Stoicism as a device. Brutus's acceptance of Portia's death shows itself as composure that conceals grief. Bathos. The poet who urges both of them to reconcile provides comic relief in the middle of tragedy. Shakespeare is using him to release tension. Foreshadowing. Every decision that is made in this scene points to the deaths in Act 5. Antithesis. Brutus's public stoicism versus his private grief. Cassius's political hardness versus his personal vulnerability. Chiasmus, give me your hand and my heart too. The reversal mirrors the restored balance between them. Personification, Caesar's spirit ranging for revenge. First announced in Act 3, now made physically present. Tragic irony, the tide argues for decisive action. Brutus takes decisive action but loses and is killed. What are the themes used by Shakespeare? Friendship and its fragility. The quarrel and reconciliation between the two of them show that friendship is something that must be constantly renewed. It cannot survive on past loyalty alone. The bond between Brutus and Cassius is real, but cannot withstand the pressures that are made to bear on it. Honor and its costs. Brutus's refusal to allow bribery is morally correct but strategically devastating. His honor fractures the alliance, silences his best advisor, and leads to Philippi. Shakespeare asks, that honor that destroys its own cause, is it truly honorable? Grief and stoicism. Brutus's suppression of grief for Portia is presented as both admirable and tragic. It's a mask as much as a belief. The quarrel scene gains its deepest irony because it has concealed so much suffering. Faith and the supernatural. Caesar's ghost signals that the assassination set in motion forces that cannot be stopped. I am thy evil spirit suggests faith as both external, the ghost, and internal, guilt. Brutus cannot escape what he has done. Strategic failure and hubris. Brutus overrules Cassius for the second time. He has not learnt his lesson. Cassius is right both times. Brutus's confidence in his own judgment, just like Caesar, becomes fatal hubris. Appearance versus reality. Brutus performs stoicism before Messala while feeling private grief. The same gap between performance and feeling that has characterized the play from the beginning now operate at its most intimate level. Shakespeare writes in Old English. Therefore, I have given you a vocabulary where I have given you the meanings of some words. Here I have given you some key passages from the scene. The speaker, the context, what it means. Read them and understand them carefully. Exam tips. What do examiners look for? There is a tide in the affairs of men. It is the most frequently examined quote from this particular scene. You have to know it fully. You have to analyze the tide or flood metaphor. Explain the irony. Brutus uses it to justify a wrong decision. Link to his pattern of overruling Cassius. Strike as thou didst at Caesar. The way Cassius bears his chest. The accusation that Brutus loves Caesar more. What it reveals about Cassius's character beneath the politics. I am thy evil spirit, Brutus. The ghost scene. What the evil spirit means. How the ghost connects to Caesar's spirit ranging for revenge. In Act 3. What it signals about Brutus's faith. Portia's death. The stoic performance versus the private grief. The double telling. Why farewell Portia as an understatement? Appearance versus reality at its most personal. The quarrel and reconciliation. What the quarrel reveals about both men. Why Cassius's gesture breaks the conflict. Give me your hand and my heart too. This is the scene's emotional turning point. Always linked to themes. Tragic flaw. Brutus's honor and strategic inexperience and strategic overconfidence both lead to Philippi. Faith. The ghost signals the doom that cannot be avoided. Friendship, quarrel and reconciliation show its fragility and depth. Appearance versus reality, strike performance that conceals grief. I have given you some questions here. Extract-based questions, context questions, short answer questions and long answer questions. When you have finished reading the scene, I would suggest that you go ahead and answer them. The answers are provided by me separately so that you should not have any trouble at all. That is Julius Caesar, Act 4, Scene 3 for you then. I do hope I have been of help. If I have, do remember to like, subscribe and share. Remember, there might be others who would be requiring our help. Thank you so much for watching.